Welcome to Psychological First Aid. The purpose of this video is to give you basic knowledge around psychological first aid so you can help your fellow colleagues, members of your community, and family members who may experience symptoms of PTSD, depression, or other mental health conditions during this difficult time. We are one Mayo family and we're all in this together. During times like these, we can remember our Mayo Clinic values, use our problem-solving skills, and care for others, especially the people we work with, to help us get through this time. In true Mayo fashion, our teams are supporting each other and sharing resources. However, we do know and we expect that post-traumatic stress disorder and depression will occur in our employees, and that is typical after a trauma and a crisis. And it's okay. Research shows us that our frontline staff are at particular risk in a crisis such as COVID-19. Our higher risk healthcare workers include younger workers, those with a history of depression, staff who have been in quarantine, those working on a high risk unit, and those of us who have friends and family who have been affected. The impact of COVID-19 is widespread, and we're definitely experiencing it right now. During this video, we're going to go over the components of giving psychological first aid and share resources that are available for you to share with your colleagues if you need to refer them on to additional services. Generally speaking, only 5 to 10% of people who experience a traumatic event may end up developing PTSD. People have resiliency and coping strategies, and these often serve as a protective barrier to help people cope with traumatic events. Psychological first aid is a tool that helps us mindfully practice and apply these skills, whether it's our own self-care, a coworker's, or a loved one. Psychological first aid helps individuals adjust to an ever-changing environment, especially at times of significant stress. And for many of us, crises have both physical and emotional impacts that are long-lasting. High rates of burnout, in addition to the COVID-19 pandemic, creates a profound sense of loss. The losses can be tangible things such as connections to people, traveling, grocery shopping, and your routine of going to and from work. Losses can also be intangible things like control, dignity, your sense of well-being, and even hope. The goal of psychological first aid is to reduce psychological distress and health behaviors by providing practical help and supporting resilience. This can be done by anybody with minimal training. In this unique time, as Mayo Clinic's employees are now more than ever each other's support systems. The elements of psychological first aid can help us understand how we can support each other in times of high stress. There are 4 elements that make up the framework for psychological first aid: promoting safety, promoting a sense of calm and comfort, encouraging connection and referring to other services if necessary, and guiding self-empowerment. Safety is really met by meeting basic needs. If you're going to provide psychological first aid, listen to a person's concerns while also listening for and providing access to these primary needs. In each of situations, one's sense of safety is going to differ. Safety for individuals can be both physical and emotional. The first step in providing psychological first aid is to provide a safe environment, both physically and emotionally. So to get a gauge of what that means in the situation at hand, listen to what the person is telling you. They're going to give you signals and let you know what and how they define their safety needs within that moment. And do your best to give them what they're asking for. People cannot recover from a crisis unless their basic needs are met. And they will feel safe when those needs are met. When people are in deep distress, what they most need is a caring presence. Speak in a calm and respectful voice. Pay attention to cultural appropriateness with eye contact, gestures, and physical proximity. And actively listen by really hearing what they have to say, what they need, and just be with them in that moment. You can use stress reduction techniques such as slow, deep breathing, taking a walk, validating their concerns, and just letting them know that what they're feeling is typical within the situation. In intense situations, it is also okay to remain still and just sit quietly. Focus in on what your presence and offer that comforting presence in silence. You can help someone in distress identify their social support. The need to connect with loved ones can often supersede all other needs. You may need to remind or even train loved ones and colleagues on how to use Zoom, Google Duo, FaceTime, or other technologies so that they can connect with their family and friends. You could also consider connecting them with local faith-based organizations or groups, as many of them are offering streaming services and virtual opportunities to connect during COVID-19. Part of connection is connecting someone to the appropriate resources when necessary. It's important to use plain language if a person begins to make statements about being unsafe, losing hope, or having thoughts of hurting themselves. These types of statements are too general, and it's okay to ask for specifics, such as, are you thinking about hurting or killing yourself? Or do you have a plan or an intent to end your life? If a person is having thoughts of ending their lives or hurting themselves, you should make an immediate referral to a mental health professional. When in doubt, consult. Provide them with resources that are available to them, such as the Employee Assistance Program, disaster relief lines, the emergency room, and if you're on campus, security. Offer to walk them to the ER or to security. So in summary, help connect friends to loved ones, ask questions, and make referrals as needed. The last factor when providing psychological first aid is empowerment. In crisis, many people will feel like they have no control over their lives. They're going to feel anxious about uncertainty, and they're not going to be able to identify what they can do for themselves. You can empower them by reminding them of the things that they can control. And you can guide those that need help and validate those who don't. Let's take a look at some tangible resources that you can share with your colleagues. At the end of this video, you're going to see two buttons. One of them is the Psychological First Aid Help Card. That's a quick reference card that you can print out to help you in the moment give practical help. You're also going to find a list of available tools and resources so that you have that at the ready. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs has developed a psychological first aid app where you can dig deeper into this topic. Additionally, Mayo Clinic staff have access to disaster distress helplines, the National Suicide Prevention Line, and as always, Mayo Security and the Emergency Department are there for you as you're on site, so don't forget to tap into those resources as well. Another resource as a Mayo Clinic employee is our Employee Assistance Program. This is a resource that's provided by Mayo Clinic at no cost to you. It's completely confidential, and it's available to employees and their family members no matter how you define family. The services can offer depending upon your location. Here is a complete listing of all the offerings based on your location. You can find this information by searching Employee Assistance Program on HR Connect. The HELP program is a peer support program for healthcare professionals who experience emotional or psychological impacts after a tragic clinical event. This can be an adverse event, a medical error, an unexpected outcome, or any stressful clinical situation. The goal of the program is to assist colleagues who have been involved in events to return to a pre-event level of performance. What makes the HELP program successful is the trained peer supporters who volunteer their time to help affected colleagues both in and outside of work. To learn more about the program, please visit the intranet, and you can find the program page by simply searching HELP program in groups or on the intranet search engine. In response to the growing uncertainty and heightened stress during this time, the Employee Wellbeing Team has created a special digital care package to help you navigate the coming days with mindfulness, compassion, and presence. Thank you very much for supporting your colleagues and your loved ones. Take care.